Welcome back to the final video in this Notion workflow series. So far, we've gone really deep into some of the concepts of Notion to build a workflow that allows us to manage our projects, manage them across different contexts, such as whether it's a business thing. For me, I'm working on an app called Flowtelic, so I have a context for that where there's lots of projects within there, and I have a content creation kind of space where I want to manage things like the book that I'm writing and the videos that I'm creating. We have central databases to manage our projects, our tasks, and then we have a view to manage all our tasks. We can see what current tasks we need to work on, what we have it scheduled, and things that have slipped when it's in the past. And we also have a recurring daily focus where when this is created, we get to reflect on what we want to work on in the day, and then it'll show us both the tasks that we scheduled for today, the tasks that we hadn't completed but we scheduled in the past, but also the things that are happening that are recurring. So we have these things like recurring tasks. So over here, we set up a task that reoccurs every weekday. So if I were to look at this setting here, it's every weekday. So we've set that up and we can create multiples of those, whether it's every day I want to do my inbox zero, make sure I manage my email, those kinds of things. But now we want to look at what it's going to take to make these things a success. So if I'm thinking of my video that I'm creating here, I might have a set of goals that I wanted to achieve. They could be number of views. It could be a click-through rate from YouTube on the browse page and the search results page into the video. It might be revenue if it's monetized, and it might be subscribers. And there could be any kinds of goals that I want. Not all projects will have the same goal. So the book I'm writing, Atomic Note-Taking, that would have a different set of goals. It could be number of people on the wait list. It could be number of purchases of the book, and those kinds of things. So now we want to create the concept of managing OKRs. So what is an OKR? Is let's say a quarter of when I want to focus on this thing. So that allows us to group our projects by when we're going to work on it. So I'm going to create in my projects, and I'm just going to clear these out. I'm going to create a property, and it's a select property, and I'm going to call this OKR. So across all my projects, I can manage a drop down of when I'm going to do this. So I might say in 2023, in quarter one, I'm going to work on that. 2023, quarter two, 2023, quarter three, 2023, quarter four. What this now allows me to do is think of my projects in terms of when it should be done. So now I can edit this view here for let's say my Flowtelic projects. I can then show this OKR property. And now I can see everything that's in progress. That didn't show me. I didn't do what I wanted. Oh, because I haven't set the OKR. So this OKR, when I'm going to work on this, let's say that's a quarter two initiative. So between April, May, and June of 2023. So now I can see when that's going to happen. My Flowtelic projects, I might say my content creation projects. My book could be a quarter one initiative, for example. Looking at the date, I don't think I will actually have it done by then. And then let's just expand this out. And then say my Notion video, this one is a quarter one project. Okay. It now means that I can visualize what it is I'm focusing on at which parts of the year and how my progress is going. If I was using this setup in a team where I want to have shared projects, everybody can see when that focus is, when are we aiming to, what's long-term, what's to be worked on right now. So that's great. I can see that, but we need some kind of KPI. It's all very well working on this. What is it that it's going to achieve? So each project will have a series of KPIs. So the way we do that is we create a new system database. We call this KPIs. Let's do it as a page. KPIs, and then we'll create a table for this. I'm going to create a new database that's going to track our KPIs. Right. So we have a view here. What is the KPI name? Unfortunately, yeah, that's fine. We want to create a name for that KPI. And then we don't really care about tags. In fact, all this really needs to do is to measure something. So I want to relate it. So I'm going to do a relation to a project. And I will show those relations on here because then we can do some roll-ups to visualize the progress of this thing. That's fine. So each KPI really, yeah, that should have one project. That's fine. And then, so what we have is a measurement. So we have a concept of where do we start and where do we want to get to? What is that growth that we want this thing to have in this KPI? And again, this is because KPIs is one database for all KPIs. We have to keep it quite simple. So I'm just going to use a number field for this. And the reason is because then we can do some kind of progress bars across them. So for a number, we may have our starting value of type number. That's fine. And then we have a target value. Okay. That needs to be converted to a number. That's fine. And I might just want to track the text of value units. Right. What does all this mean? So let's put this into context. I'm just going to delete the blank things in here. So we've got KPIs and we want them in our projects. So in my projects database, I've got my templates here. So I'm just going to edit my content creation database. I have the concept of my tasks in here, and then I'm going to add another database. Actually, I'll create another tab here, and I'm going to link this to my KPIs. Okay. I'm going to rename that to be KPIs. I can hide that, duplicate otherwise. And this is going to show my list of KPIs. And I might want to do it as a board view. We'll think about that later. Right. So if I create the content project, I have a concept of tasks and a concept of KPIs. If I want to lay this out in a nice way, I might keep them separate just so they're not hidden away behind the tabs. But for now, we'll just get it working. And this KPI needs to filter based on the project that it currently is, which is a content creation. Very confusing. I don't know what the difference is between these. I'm just going to pick this one because I'm not in my template. That's what the problem is. I'm going to delete. I've somehow not been editing the template. I actually created a new class. I wanted to edit the template. So this is the problem with Notion. Yeah, you seem to be in the wrong place accidentally, not where you thought you were. So yeah, watch out. And then we can filter this where the project is content creation. Should be the top thing. So because it wasn't the top thing, I knew something was amiss. Right. So now when I go create a new content creation project, I should have a set of KPIs. Let's put this into context. So I have my Notion productivity workflow. What's really annoying here is because obviously I've lost, because I've already created this project, I've lost the ability to just easily utilize it without having to recreate or rewire up all these tasks. So if I go and delete, it might work. It might work. I'm thinking if I delete this view, if I delete everything on the page, which I can do because this is not much on it, and then go create content creation again, I haven't actually changed, because these are views, I haven't changed any of the data. And now I get back all the items and I get back the KPIs. So now I can start thinking, what is the KPI, key performance indicator, in my Q1 OKR that I want to happen with this video? So I might have a number of views as a KPI. Don't need to see this property here because I'm already in that project. And I'm going to start, obviously, with 0 views. And I might want, say, 10,000 YouTube views for this project. And let's say that the units are YouTube views. I could have done that as a drop down just so I don't have to type it multiple times. Then I might have click-through rates. As a second goal. I didn't have any click-through rate in the start with, but maybe I want to aim for 3%. So my units there are %, just so I can keep track of what the 3 means. And then I might want to have revenue. So I start with 0, and maybe in pounds, I want this to make £100 of ad revenue. And that's in pounds. Okay, right. Those are my KPIs. How do I know that this project has delivered on those KPIs? So what we also need a concept of is recording KPI performance at a point in time, and we'll do some roll-ups so that we can visualize our progress. And this is going to get a little bit tricky, but when it works, it's going to be amazing. So what this means, I can go and look at my Notion, I can see what I'm tracking, but I can't see what the current performance is. Where would I put that? So I'm going to create another system database. And I'm going to call this KPI results. Create that as a page. So paste that in there, right? KPI results is going to be a table because I want to create a database for it. The name, we can't get rid of that. We don't actually need it, but we'll keep it for now. We want to change we want to have a date field. Let's just get rid of the tags. That doesn't mean anything. So if I look at on, say, Thursday, how many views did I get? So I want to track the progress. So in order to do that, I need a date. So date of when I've done a recording. And I want a value. So for that value, and to match, because we're going to do some calculations on this, it's going to be number. So it'll either be number of views, it'll be number of revenue, number of revenue, whatever it is. So any point in time, I can see what a value was for a given thing, but I also need to track a relation to the KPI that I'm recording. And I want to show it on the KPIs because of that. Again, we're going to do the roll-ups, so the whole thing can be visualized back up to the project level. Okay. So this means we now have, when we create a KPI, we want to create a template for this so that we can put in our view for the projects, for the results of that KPI. So KPI is our template. These are our roll-up things. Here we don't need to worry about that. Starting value, ending value. Find our place. This needs to link. No, this is fine. This is fine. We're going to create a new KPI. And we'll create a section called results. I'm going to create a database view, a table view, to my KPI results from the system. Okay. Can hide that. Rename that to KPI results. I want to sort it by date. I'll say ascending. That's fine. So this is to show all of these, but I now need to filter it where the KPI, the key performance indicator it links to is the template. So when I go and say, I want to measure YouTube views, this is the template for my YouTube views measurement, and it'll give me a section for all the results of that. Amazing. Let's give that a go. So create this template. I want to measure my revenue, let's say on, I'm just going to ignore the name because that doesn't really, let's say yesterday I looked at the revenue and it was, say, £5. And then let's say today I look at the revenue and it's £15. That's a good. So now when I look at my revenue, I can see that I've got some data that progresses. And then let's say click-through rate and create KPI here. I don't need a name. Let's say yesterday I got a click-through rate of 2.1, but today I got a 2.4, click-through rate 2.4, and then number of views. Create the KPI templates. These are results. Let's say yesterday I had 0 views because this one's incremental. Today I had, let's say, 200 views. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now I've got some kind of measurements in my KPIs. And so when I look at my content creation project, I look at my Notion project here, got my KPIs. Maybe I want to visualize that as a gallery where I want, I don't know, content, let's say none, but I want to show some properties, which is hiding somewhere in here. Hold up. I'm just going to change this from center peak to opening up so that I can actually scroll. What properties I want to show? I want to show my starting value, my target value, my units. You can't add labels in here, which is really annoying. I could do it with the formula, and it gets a bit more messy. And as you finesse this, you might want to do that, but we'll keep it as it is for now. So I've got a view of my KPIs here, but I don't know, at this level, I don't know what the performance currently is. And this is where we can use the roll-up feature. We're going to use a bit of a trick to get all the results that we have in that order that they've been entered. And then we'll take the topmost figure and we'll use that in terms of our current value. So we can do this essentially looking at one of these. Because this is now editing the master database for the stain here, that's fine. So I need to remind myself how to do this. So just bear with me because it's a little bit tricky. Right, I'm going to copy a formula to get the current value. What is the current value? I know the current value is 200 because I've entered them. And as I keep adding, I've got the historical values, but I know that the last value is the one I want. So I'm going to create a formula called current value. I'm going to paste in this little notation here, and I'm going to change this to be, can't remember what it is, KPI results. Okay, what does that mean? Remember when I created the KPI results database and I linked it to the KPI? So I checked, and I checked the box, which allows me to have that property reflected on the KPI. I know this is really confusing. That is called KPI results, and I can see it in this list here. So this is a roll-up value. Now, I get the prop, and because it's a roll-up value and it's got multiple values, what I'll do is I create a comma-separated list. And this notation here replaces, with a bit of regex, everything, comma, so something that with a comma, and replace an empty string. and then it leaves the last value. The last value is this one because it won't end in a comma. So if I save that and see the value, definitely not what I was expecting. Because that's untyped. That should be untyped. These are the results here. Value units says YouTube views because I think I'm missing something. Because that's picked up this YouTube views KPIs. I need to do one other thing. There's something missing. Measurement list. I need another property. We actually have to go through two properties, and one is a roll up. Okay, right. We'll call that a value list. I'll go over this once it's all set up. So it's a roll up to my KPI results, but the property we want is the value. Okay, this is where I've gone wrong. So first thing you do is you create this roll up to KPI relationship, the reverse relationship, and just get the value. And see how now we have 0, space, 200. And as I add these, that list will just get bigger and bigger. That's fine. And then when you edit the formula, sorry, not units, where's my current value? We'll put that under here. So we edit the formula, roll the KPI results. That was the long thing. Should be value list now. So first roll up allows us to extract out just the right properties that we want. The second formula now basically strips out the things we don't actually want. So now we have the value 200. If that value was 500, that would reflect up here. This I can now hide because it's sort of like a hidden secret in here that we don't actually need to know. And then if, say, tomorrow I do a measurement, say on the 9th, it goes up to 500, then that value becomes 500. And I can now start tracking my progress against this target value from the starting value. So let's now do that. So my progress, I'm just looking up. Again, it's another formula, which is going to be a bit more complicated. So we want to create another property I have to show them all before I can add a policy. So add another formula. Okay. Right. Bear with me because this is a little more complicated because I have a starting value and I have a target value. If my KPI is moving from 0 to my target value, then that's like 0% is 0 and 100% is my target value. So 10,000 views, but I get 10,000 views. I'm 100% of my KPI complete. If I have a KPI where I want to go from a click-through rate of 2% to 3%, then 0% progress means I'm at 2% or below, and 100% progress means I'm at 3% or above. So I have this upper and lower boundary, and I need to get a percentage of through the minimum and maximum. So we'll do this in parts. First of all, annoyingly, I've gone and renamed all these, and every time I edit this now, it goes out of my view. So I've got it in the list down here. I can work with these. Right. Let's start with my current value. I could just select it actually. So my current value, if I do that, and I'm going to call this progress. So my progress on my current value is 500. I want to know if I subtract my starting value, where we're at. So we'll edit that. So my current value minus prop starting value. Okay. I need to convert, because we've used formulas and done some string manipulation with the stripping out the commas and that, I can go to number. I know it's going to be a number because that's how I set things up. So whatever my current value and my starting value. So that'll still be 500. But if I wanted to start at 300, that will become 200. I've incremented from starting to 200 by 200, right? So let's continue. So we've got this value. I want to put that in brackets because I now want to work that out as a percentage of the difference of which I need to move things. So I'm going to divide that by the prop target value minus the prop starting value. So if I do that, how many brackets do I need? 1, 2. Feels... I don't know if I've got the brackets in the right place. I think there's another bracket needed. Somewhat. Oh, right, that's fine. Okay. What does that give us? That's what that gives us. That gives us a value as a decimal percentage between here. So in theory, if my starting value was 300, let's say my ending value was 500, but my progress was 400, I should see 0.5 if I got that right. Oh, thank goodness. And then if I multiply that value by 100, oh, don't edit that. If I multiply that thing, it's 100 times, let's put that in a bracket. That gives me a percentage progress between my starting and ending values based on all these, my latest figure in here, which is kind of cool. If my view somehow went down to 100 because of something wrong, then, oh dear, I've gone below my, I'm minus 100% below my progress. If that was actually 100, in theory, that should go to 0. But actually, what if I did start at 200, but I somehow dropped my figure? My progress has gone into the negatives, and I want to cap that. So I'm just going to say I want the maximum of between whatever that value is, and I'm going to say 0 or that. So that figure can't go below 0. However, if I've gone absolutely amazing, my progress is 1600%. So I want to cap it between 0 and 100%. The reason I do that is because I want to use these charts here, and you can't use formulas for the upper and lower bounds. If you could, life would be a lot easier. So we've got the maximum there. And then we also want to make sure that our minimum value is 100% or whatever we calculate. So whichever of the two is lower, then that progress will be between 0 and 100, no matter what figures I put in here. If I 200, 205, we start getting 1% progress. 250, we get 16%. And then if I hit my goal of 500, we're at 100%. Okay, got that progress, edit the property. And now we do a little thing. And now that shows us for that KPI, our progress. And now in our KPIs, I'll do this in the template. So if I go back to my KPI template, edit. Let's change this to be a, not table, a gallery. Okay, we can't see it because we're in the template, so we'll have to use our imagination. Annoyingly, I can't really get down here. And the properties I'm going to show, not the date. Yeah, the date. I don't want to show the name. I'm going to show the value. Oh, up here. That's the progress. It wasn't working. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh no, that is right. That is. I think that is. for my projects template. Sorry. This is complicated, obviously. For my project template, for a content creation template, edit this. Now, when I have my KPIs, this is what I want it to be, a gallery. I've got an editor of the template. I didn't need to. In here, for those KPIs, I want to show what it is, what my current value is, what my starting value is. Actually, no, I'll just say current value and the units, value units. Okay, let's see what that does. So go back in here. I delete this. Backspace. But this is a content creation thing. Look at my KPIs, number of views. Current value is 500. I'm 100% through my progress. Click-through rate, current value is 2.4. And I'm 80% progress. My results, my revenue, I'm at £15. So I'm 15% of my target. My target is, what did I say? 100. That's that. 200. That's my target. You can see those figures up there. So there you go. That is a way to show KPIs on a project. So now, especially if I'm in a team, when you're working on your area, it's nice to visualize what the results are. Be honest with yourself about whether you're actually moving the needle in the right way and you're progressing your projects and you're getting the results you want. If you're not, you need to keep iterating. Like putting a YouTube video live. If you're not getting the click-through rate, change the title, change the thumbnail, do some learning, make sure that the next projects don't suffer the same consequence, right? This helps you visualize that. So here's the way you do it. So you've got your KPIs here, nice little card view. I can see how that is progressing. And if it's not working, I ask the question, well, what task? What do I need to do to move that KPI? I go and put it as a task, and then it all flows back in the system where I can plan it in and actually get things going in the right way. So I'm going to end this video here with some quite complex, as I say, productivity porn. Some of it is really tricky to do. As you can tell, trying to articulate and get it done at the same time is really hard to portray. I hope you managed to follow along okay, and gives you inspiration of ways that you can use Notion to build a productivity workflow that really works for you. But by all means, don't obsess about it. Just make sure you do the work. Make sure that every day you spend more time doing the tasks rather than tweaking the system. So I hope this video has been enjoyable. Give it a like if you've enjoyed it. Drop a comment of how you're getting on with your Notion productivity. Now, a couple of things that I'm working on that I just want to showcase. I'm working on a note-taking app at the moment called Flowtelic. Is my version of how to use the Zettelkasten note-taking method so that you can unlock your knowledge potential. I want to get to a point where you're not just reading and consuming content, that you're actually using it for action, and it gives you the tools and the techniques to help you do that. It's early days. I've been working on it a long time, but it's early days. And it will be a desktop app that allows you to manage that. As part of that, I teach the Zettelkasten note-taking method, and I'm writing a book at the moment called Atomic Note-Taking. So if you go to atomicnotetaking.com, I'm working on a draft of the book right now. Drop your name, drop your email address, go enjoy part 1 of the book, which sets the scene for everything. And then when the book is ready to be purchased, then that will be available. I'm looking at a launch price of around $20. So if you want to get that launch price, then do consider dropping your details in there. So yeah, that is pretty much the scope of things for productivity porn in Notion. If you want to get access to this template, then I'll drop a link to where you can get access to it in the description of the video. So thank you very much, and catch you in the next one.